get an idea from people on the panel, because there's always a debate. There's a lot of free music going out there, a lot of digital music going out there. I mean, you made Skyzoo particularly. We can start with you, I think, because you've done a lot of work doing things digitally. But what is the importance of still doing physical music, and when you do physical music, what are you doing to really maximize those opportunities? If you still plan to do physical music.
Yeah, well, with me, I definitely plan on still doing physical CDs and vinyl, as long as I possibly can. Obviously, we know it's a digital era where, the majority of sales are going in that direction. But at the same time, I think that first off, there's still a market for physical. I think second, people still want something tangible. They still want something that they can hold on to, that they can feel like they're a part of, at least for the rest of this generation. Maybe not 20 years from now, I can't predict it, but at least for this generation where the ones like myself who were brought up on physical are still involved and still purchasing music and still want to go purchase music, we still feel weird not having the CD and not opening the credits and not having something that we can own. And on top of that, for people that drive around, I think it's one thing to, have an iPod and have the adapter in your car, but when new music drops on a certain day, and let's say you get it that day from a store or whatever it is, and you throw it right in the car, you have a CD where you can throw it right in the car, whereas you gotta wait till you get home to upload it, this, that, and the third. Obviously, you can buy stuff on the iPhone now as well, but if that's a hassle, then that's something that you don't necessarily have to be a part of. I'm a fan of both, digital and physical, and I think that as long as I possibly can, I definitely plan on still doing physical CDs, physical vinyl, especially overseas. If anybody in the crowd is an artist themselves and they've ever been overseas, the importance and the relevance of having vinyl overseas, even more so than in the States. When I tour the States, we sell a little bit of vinyl, we sell a lot of CDs, but overseas, you really get busy on the vinyl. So I think it's extremely important. I definitely don't want to see it as as something that dies off or goes away.
For sure. Bird, you want to kind of elaborate on from a label standpoint and sort of the differences and how you can maximize physical product in today's market?
At Rhymesayers, the physical is still 60% of our sales. So 55% of it is CDs, 5% of it is vinyl, and roughly 40% of our sales is digital. So with packaging is really crucial nowadays, like doing more elaborate stuff with packaging, not just giving a fan a regular just jewel case CD, but a package that's worth the money, a reason, a purpose to go buy the physical. And like with the vinyl, giving a digital download card so they have the vinyl as well as they get the digital. So I think the physical is still there. We still sell a lot of CDs, we still sell a lot of vinyl, and it's still 60% of our sales, so it's still definitely relevant.
For sure. And it's like going on the other opposite side of that, the digital sales, and this digital sales, or even this digital music in general, whether it's free or for sale, obviously there's a lot of that going on, but that could be a problem. There's a lot of it going on. What are things people can do to really maximize that and stand out in a world where every day there's dozens of albums coming out, dozens of songs coming out, free digitally? How do you compete with that to actually make money in that market? Anyone want to handle that?
Well, sure. I guess what I kind of do is I do artist marketing and merchandising for bands and for events, and I work directly with the artists. I kind of act as a liaison between the performer and the artist, so I try to match up something that will capture the music, capture the vibe, and make sure that it's cherished, like you said, for a lifetime. With limited edition posters, for instance, we put them on really nice paper, and it's something that's tangible, so we can bring home. And what we do is limited edition runs, so once they're signed, once they're numbered, that's the quantity of it. And it seems to be a really good output. I really encourage everybody to go down to Flat Stock. It's on the main floor. That's where a lot of these pretty heady artists are at. So that's one huge aspect that artists can jump into to kind of cross-pollinate artists, performers, and also get a kind of online presence with collectors.
Can I jump in on something, Kevin? I think in working with Doomtree, what we've tried to stay conscientious of is that from the consumer perspective, we understand that everybody has the opportunity to obtain the music illegally. That's known. We know that. The torrent sites are out there. We can't ask people to take them down fast enough to make any kind of impact. So buying music is a choice. And then asking ourselves, again, from the consumer perspective, why would people make the choice to buy music that they can have for free, both digitally and physically? Some of the answers that we've tried to come up with and had some degree of success is the value adds physically, just like Jaybird mentioned. So that means that we're getting a short-run, custom, interactive packaging. You know, this sets up into an origami diorama. This has a 3D element when you overlay a transparency. So you make meaningful connections with the visual artists in your city to try to involve them in a real collaborative way to make the physical object valuable. Nikki, right, all her extra content, it felt like if you went to a Target in a different zip code, you got a different album when you bought the thing, right? For her last record, she had different deluxe versions at absolutely every retailer. The last thing that I would say is the non-tangible value add. This probably isn't for every artist, but for us, every time I release a record or somebody on Doomtree does, I say, just so you know, the reason that it's important for us, the reason that we're in Best Buy, the reason that I'm asking you to go there, if you've got the 10 to spend it on us, is because this is what we're going to spend it on. So, right, Doomtree just came out with a record called Milking. If you are excited to hear my next record or POS's next record or whoever's next record, like Sims's next disc is funded by the money that you decide to spend with us. So understand that there is you are part of the movement here. There's a conscientious appeal is what I'm making, right? Like, we're not balling out of control. I slept in this shirt. We're spending the money to make new music. You know what I mean?
Ali, if you can speak on, obviously we've done digital things in the past, but with this new campaign for your new record, you've gone a little more active with your digital. The free EP just came out February. You had a few things leak out song-wise. So how is you taking that new approach and being more aggressive with the digital, that the planning that's involved with that?
Well, I see obviously that's something that people have tried to. I think that's a hip-hop thing, that we make a virtue out of necessities. Things that are just obviously true that we can't change. We turn that into something that we almost look like we meant for it to be that way. And so I think it's really in the spirit of hip-hop that we figure out that people have been, there's this whole social media and this whole, people living their lives and getting their entertainment through that medium. That we try to figure out, well, what's a way that we can do this that expresses ourselves. I started by watching what everybody was doing. And I feel like it got to a point where I think we have to be careful because there's an instant gratification thing about releasing things online. It's very easy. There's something really amazing about because all of us do this whether we make money or not. We can say that we do this for the money, but the reality is that most of us do this because we like to say, look what I can do. And we like for somebody to say, that's the shit, that's great that you can do that. And so, the fact that we can make something in our house and the next day, people all over the world are telling us how great it is. I think there's something there that can be, it's very, very appealing, but in this particular case, I never really did that. I never had a whole lot of extra. I'm not a person that has a lot of extra music usually anyway. I have my albums. I really put a lot into making an album. And there's not a whole lot of extra music because I write my album and then I made my album. I felt like I was done. This time, I went and I actually worked with Jake once in Seattle. And so I went and got an apartment in Seattle and made a lot of extra music. It's okay, we got an album and we have extra music. I think that's one of the things that a lot of cats that really do a lot on the internet are missing, is that in order to really, what we're trying to do is become part of somebody's lives to the point that they care about the role that music plays in their life. And so they will, once that happens, then they'll follow you to whatever medium you ask them to follow you into. Whether that's merch or whether it's shows or whether it's anything. People will respond to that because you are really a part of who they are and they're part of who you are and they feel that's similar to what everybody said. So we had this album. We also had extra music and we had time. So we started looking at what's the best way to release this music for people. And so I just put a free EP out. It was the first time I've ever done anything like that. And it was interesting that it was 7 songs, all of them original beats, recorded studio, everything. But because it was free, it was called a mixtape. And something about that just really messed me up. That just really bothered me. That it gets put in the same category as people rapping over the new 50 beat. 16 bars, it cuts off, a DJ yells, and then something, and they rap over the Wiz Khalifa beat, and then DJ yells again. And it's like, man, I'm trying to write songs like this. So I can't pretend to have completely figured it out, but I do know that that is something that's just part of it now, and that, it really, I feel like it's important for us to use it in a way that benefits us, and use it in a way that keeps people engaged and try to get some new attention as well.
For sure. And I guess a key point here is no matter whether you're trying to do it physical or digital, it doesn't really matter unless you can let people know about it.